It's happening, people. It is officially cozy season. I actually hate that expression so much. It just springs to mind some basic bitch stuff like, I don't know, pumpkin spice lattes. Anyway, cozy season apparently for a lot of people means if you're out on the road. Gilmore Girls. So I'm going to be watching the pilot episode of Gilmore Girls and then I'll come back to this video and tell you my thoughts. Now, I've actually tried to watch this show before, but something about the small town, autumnal, fall notion of it all just makes me uncomfortable. But lots of people have told me that they love it, but I'm going to give it a go. I'm going to do my basic bitch due diligence and watch Gilmore Girls. So here goes. Okay, we're back. I've just watched the pilot episode of Gilmore Girls. First of all, the first song that you hear when it starts is There She Goes by the Lars. And it is a song that screams autumn. We rate it. So we're introduced to a character called Laurelai. Sorry, I'm not trying to be rude, but what kind of a name is Laurelai? It is giving fantasy role play. So sorry if there's any Lorelais watching. I mean no offense. It's just an odd name to me. That doesn't mean that it's not common. I just have never heard of it. Anyway, she goes into this diner. The guy behind the counter is berating her for ordering more coffee, but eventually he does let her have it. And there definitely seems to be some sort of like vibe between the two of them. Sexual chemistry, if you will. Lorelai's outfit is insane. A guy comes over and he starts flirting with her and he appears to be about 10 years younger. So I guess we're supposed to assume that that's because Lorelai is super hot. Fine. But then enter her daughter, Rory, and the guy starts flirting with her, thus I guess establishing that both Lorelai and Rory are stunning and everybody in the town fancies them. I'm assuming. Anyway, cuts to the theme song after this and it is our queen, Carole King. She's songwriting royalty. So I have to say the theme song is a bop, an absolute bop. I don't know how she agreed to it, but however, the sepia tone within the title sequence is the kind of thing that has put me off. It's just giving vintage viewing for me. Anyway, you'll be pleased to know I still persevered. You're welcome. So Laurelai, who is the mother of Rory, works at a place called the Independence Inn. Now, why an inn, you may ask? I have no idea. It's giving fantasy yet again. It's giving trolls, princesses, frogs, princes turning into frogs. An inn. Why not a hotel, a motel? Oh, the Holiday Inn. Fair enough. But anyway, I don't know anyone that works at an inn. But again, I'm from the UK. Maybe that is a thing in America. I don't know. What is the difference between a hotel and an inn? I can't be bothered to check that out for myself. But anyway, working at the inn is a guy. Was his name Michelle? Yeah, I think it's Michelle, who has a questionable French accent and he appears to be very rude and obnoxious. But he's kind of rude in a caricaturish French way. It's giving faux French, faux français, if you will. What I will say so far is that the chemistry between the mum and daughter is, I was going to say palpable, that sounds all kinds of wrong, but the chemistry between the mum and daughter is really good. They've got a really good synergy, and for a pilot episode, that's pretty rare. They seem really comfortable with each other, so props to them for that. Next, we see Rory, the younger one, going to school, and we meet her friend Elaine, who is a Korean-American girl who seems to have been brought up with strict parents. Now, on the way into school, there's a really creepy guy who stares long and hard at Rory, and in my head, I'm thinking, oh, murderer. That's a little bit more exciting than what I was expecting. I was thinking small town, but no, we're introducing a murderer, perhaps a kidnapping, if you will. But no, we learn that Rory is not like other girls.
Honestly, I don't think that anyone would want to date me because I love to eat pizza. Like, I eat pizza more than probably like anyone else I know eats pizza. I don't know, I'm weird.
And in the classroom at school, she actually decides that she wants to do some work. And there are some other girls around her who can't believe that she's actually getting on with her work. The only thing I'd say about this is that those girls look a cool 32. So they shouldn't be in work. They should indeed not even be in school. So I'm not surprised that they're not doing any work. But anyway, that's beside the point. But Rory seems to like or enjoy the fact that she is studious and they are not. Thus, I guess, putting her in the position of superiority. I don't know. It bothered me. So back at the inn, we meet Lorelai's best mate, who is Suki, who is Melissa McCarthy, which I absolutely could not believe. I love Melissa McCarthy of Bridesmaids fame, and she is the chef at the inn, and we learn that their ambition is to open an inn together. So I guess this would be their, in acting terms, their objective. She's so cute. She's a little chaotic in the kitchen, relatable, and yeah, so far I like Suki. She's cute. So then we end up meeting another character, Lane's mum, who is, I guess, an overprotective Asian mum, and she owns a really cool antique store that's like filled to the brim with all these antiquities. And I love a thrift antique secondhand store. That's my jam. But yeah, it looks like a really cool store, but she does seem to be a little bit overprotective of Lane and doesn't love Rory, which, to be quite frank, neither do I thus far. My initial impressions of Rory are she's got a bit of a superiority complex. So because Rory is not like other girls and she's super smart, she actually ends up getting into this really prestigious private school called Chiltern, which is a pretty good name for a private school, to be fair. And Laurelai, her mum, is super excited and yeah, super hyped. Her best friend Suki's really hyped. Rory's really hyped. But then we find out that it's actually super expensive. So Laurelai, as a, I'm assuming, single mum, is trying to find out ways that she can afford the school. And her best friend Suki is trying to advise her, you know, you've always got your parents that you can go to. And Laurelai, for some reason, is vehemently against this. She's like, absolutely not. I will not go there. I really don't understand their house. Laurelai appears to be quite a young mum, but their house is giving drab and very old person-ish vibes. But, you know, taste is subjective. Fine. Anyway, Rory getting into the school and then Laurelai not being able to afford it. I guess that's where the conflict lies. And so she does end up having to go to her parents for the money. Dun, dun, dun. So she pulls up to her parents' house in a really cool Jeep, may I add. Like, sell your car. Anyway, she pulls up to this stunning house where her rich, very rich and bougie parents live. We meet the mum, the grandma, and I love her on sight, but their relationship is strained, to say the least. To me, like, the mum or grandma has the same dry sarcasm that Laurelai has, so we see where she gets it from. The dad, Richard, very tall man, he seems quite distant. He's just like reading his paper, drinking his whiskey or whatever he's drinking. He seems a little bit uninterested, but he does say as soon as Laurelai comes in, oh yeah, you want money, which is, to be quite honest, like, how embarrassing.
Are you not embarrassed? This is really embarrassing.
Because that is exactly why she's come there. So it's clear that she doesn't have the best relationship with them. So Laurelai does ask for the money for Rory to go to this private school, and the grandparents are thrilled that Rory has got into such an incredible institution. They seem really hyped, and they say to Laurelai that, yeah, she can have the money on one condition. Laurelai and must come to Friday night dinner every Friday, and also she must give them a phone update, I think like once a week as well, which really isn't that much to us, but I don't know what's gone on between them yet. Laurelai accepts reluctantly, and that's that. So Rory is super hyped to leave her shitty little public school and be able to go to this really posh private school. And then she has a oops, I dropped something moment in the corridor. And when she looks up, there is a giant standing there, or should I say a giant stalker. That guy from earlier that I presumed could be a murderer, a stalker, kidnapper of some sort, is actually some guy called Dean, who seems to have set his sights on Rory. And Rory is flattered by this interaction. I don't massively understand it, but okay. My initial instinct was run, girl, run. He says his family have just moved here. It is perhaps one of the most stiff and awkward conversations I have witnessed on screen.
They make really good cakes here. They're very round.
There is what I would consider zero chemistry between them, but okay. They are teenagers, so fine. So he's looking for a job, and Rory says that he could try and go to somewhere called Miss Patty's, and they decide to walk together to this place. I don't know, he just gives me bad vibes right now, especially when he says this.
Hey, how did you know I was reading Moby Dick?
Well, I've been watching you.
Watching me?
I mean, not in a creepy, like, I'm watching you sort of way. I've noticed you.
Me?
Yeah.
When?
Every day. After school, you come out and you sit under that tree there and you read. Last week, it was Madame Bovary. This week, it's Moby Dick.
But why would you?
Because you're nice to look at.
Absolutely not. This boy knows her entire schedule. Run, Rory, run. Laurelai lets Rory know that they're going to visit the grandparents and that they have to go to Friday night dinner. And to be honest, Rory is hella rude about it. She then starts saying she doesn't know if she wants to go to Chilton. I guess because she fancies the stalker boy, which is absolutely ridiculous because she literally just met him and he's giving stalker. But teenagers will be teenagers, I guess. So she's literally willing to give up her whole dream of not being like other girls, going to Harvard for a boy she just met who stalked her. Make it make sense, Rory. I'm gonna need you to make it make sense. Laurelai is really annoyed by this and she's like, so what, you're gonna give it all up for a boy and become like me? Anyway, they argue. Rory seems fine. She puts on Macy Gray. How does this show manage to look 1,000 years old but then be having Macy Gray, who I swear only released I Try to Say Goodbye and like literally yesterday? Back at the inn, and Laurelai is explaining to, I think it's Suki, that her and Rory never fight, which seems weird. It's giving codependence, but okay. And she's really, really upset about it. So they end up going to the grandparents for Friday night dinner and it's a little awkward. The grandma is hysterical, honestly. I love her. Her one-liners are chef's kiss. The grandparents mentioned that Rory's dad, Chris, called and that does not go down well at all and a big fight occurs. And here's where we have a lot of exposition, but I will say it's done really, really well. It's the pilot episode. They need to introduce the characters and they do it. I have to give them credit. They do it really well. We find out that Laurelai was pregnant at 16 and left home to fend for herself, and her parents didn't have much contact with her. And I don't really know why Chris is estranged. I don't know why he's an absent father, but deadbeat dads will deadbeat dads, I guess. But anyway, Laurelai managed to leave, make a brand new life for herself, and here we are now, and she's managing a fantasy role play in. So Rory and Laurelai end up leaving the dinner and going to the diner. And even though they've just eaten dinner, the dinner did look a bit dead at the grandparents' house, to be fair, but they end up going to the diner and ordering chili fries and more coffee. And at this point, I don't know what time must it be, like 10 p.m. And Luke definitely seems to be something going on between him and Laurelai, but still it's undefined. He seems to care about them, but he's also like weirdly aggressive about their overconsumption of coffee. And it's a little bit out of place, but okay. It's actually kind of cute. And in the beginning, I kind of wanted to punch him and I don't feel like that by the end. So that is progress. There we have it, the pilot episode of Gilmore Girls. The episodes are like 45 minutes long, which, wow. There were a lot of things that I didn't mention because they were boring or because I've forgotten them. So I can't say I'm a fan yet, but what I will say is it's not terribly written thus far. Worried about the characters of color. Worried about any queer characters. Loving the grandma so far. I think she's witty and elegant. I could be proven wrong. Laurelai is fine so far and Rory is a brat. If you want me to review more episodes over this autumn fall season, then do let me know in the comments below. I thought a fun thing that I could do for the end of each episode was have 2 questions and 1 prediction.
Question:
why the hell does Laurelai work at an inn? And what does Rory see in Dean?
Prediction:
Luke and Laurelai get together. Oh, is that a question or a prediction? No, that's a prediction. Luke and Laurelai get together. I'm going to be strong in my convictions. If you want to see more videos from me, you can do in the playlist here. And until then, I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.
If you want more Gilmore Girls, subscribe and I will give it a whirl. Subscribe.